Welcome to Mr. D's Rap. Welcome to Mr. D Likes Rap. First off, I want to open this video with a huge shout out to all the people that have been watching, liking, subscribing, just based off one video alone. I think it's fantastic. I'm so excited, so grateful, and I'm just overall really excited to get more Mr. D Likes Rap on YouTube. One thing I need to kind of stress in this next video is a bit of a disclaimer. So for everybody who is a student who may be watching my videos, I just want to stress that Mr. D does not approve of watching any videos, Mr. D related or not, during class time. I gotta put my serious hat on just for a little bit. I really want to keep doing this and I'm having fun doing it, but the moment that too many students are disrupting the class time of other teachers at my school, then things will have to change. So remember, save it for lunchtime or at home, but please keep watching, keep liking, and subscribe if you can. Now, let's get back to the reviews. Today I'll be talking about a new, kind of more obscure EP that came out around the same time World on Drugs did. It's by Open Mike Eagle, and it's called This Is What Happens When I Try to Relax. So I only really got into Open Mike Eagle last year when he put out a project called Brick Body Kids Still Daydream, which is just an absolutely gorgeous project. I highly recommend it. Please listen to it. I know you'll get something out of it. Open Mike takes this really harsh story in American history and presents it in a super beautiful and gorgeous way. You realize that this is definitely out of the wheelhouse of a lot of the students that I know, their listening habits. So I just really hope that at the end of this video, you get kind of a sense of what Open Mike Eagle is about and maybe some tracks that you might want to check out by him. I gotta say though, this dude is crazy talented. While I was doing the research for this video, I learned that he was part of a scientific research paper that analyzed brainwave patterns while freestyling. And he's an author on the study. That's so cool. I think that as a hip-hop star, that is such a cool thing to put on your resume. It's badass. It's so badass. So, to go from reviewing Future and Juice WRLD to something like this, it's definitely going to be a different kind of video, but I think if you're more into the Lils of the rap community, whether it's Pump or Uzi Vert or Mosey, I think that maybe branching out to something a little different is always a good idea. You might find something that you really like. So, without further ado, let's jump into the track list. Oh my god. So the way this song opens is just, it's so mesmerizing. As soon as Open Mike Eagle starts rapping, there's this booming bass that hits, and you almost feel like trapped in the song. Like you just know you're gonna listen to this EP all the way through because it's just this hauntingly beautiful sound. So when I looked at the lyrics for this song, I couldn't help but picture these high school kids who are maybe having trouble making connection, but when it comes to like getting involved in social interactions and trying to make friends, the stomach butterflies hit you, they're out in full force. Sometimes connecting with peers can seem like a friggin' nightmare. Because it is stressful, it's anxiety inducing, and especially in high school, it's something that for some people it comes naturally, and for some people it's very difficult. So when you look at some of the lyrics, you get this idea of, I'm trying, I ain't perfect, but I'm still trying. If you take these lyrics from Open Mike, it's almost like, I'm gonna be confident, you're gonna love me, we have so much in common. But inside I'm dealing with incompatibility, not fitting in, stressing about making connections. And I love this song because it's real and it's honest, and it reaffirms the listener that no matter those negative emotions, you're still gonna try. You're still gonna get out there and you're gonna, despite those feelings, you're going to try to connect with the people around you. So later on we see lines like this, and this comes back to the idea of putting yourself out there. So this comes back to that effort put in to socialize. You still might not be getting the reward, you're listening to your friends, you're trying to make connections, but that invisibility still sticks around. No matter how much I put in, I still tend to blend into a crowd. And that's what Open Mike Eagle feels, and that's a story he's telling on this EP so far. And I love listening to this guy because he raps about imperfection. He raps about like whether or not you're a celebrity or a hip-hop artist, that stress and anxiety just doesn't go away when you get famous. And in the second verse, Open Mike gets a little more aggressive in his lines. That anxiety and that negativity that was showing up in verse 1, Open Mike is asking now, why are you so special? Why are you so relatable? Why am I trying so hard? So this is a great song, powerful message, awesome start to the EP. So with this next track, we're definitely sticking with those themes of anxiety and stress. But now we moved away from that inner negativity to the fantastic, wonderful, terrible world that we're dealing with in 2018. And this song in particular discusses a lot of the aspects of Black Lives Matter and the constant gun violence that's happening in the United States, particularly towards young African Americans. And you look at lines like this. So as a teacher and a huge hip-hop fan, this is the kind of message that should be in music. So what Open Mike Eagle is saying in these lines is that something like Black Lives Matter should not be a debate. It is a movement that all politicians need to support and listen to and acknowledge, regardless of your political leaning. There are citizens of the United States who are being gunned down because of the color of their skin. This isn't a right or left debate. This is an organization begging for their lives, hoping for something to change. You can kind of sense the frustration and that angst in Open Mike Eagle's last verse. It sums up as, things need to change. A large part of the American population is at a total breaking point, and Open Mike is pushing for peace no matter what it takes. So this is a heated and intense topic all over the continent right now, and I think Open Mike Eagle is kind of pushing his message. He's adding his contribution to the conversation, which is, I think, awesome. That's what a hip-hop platform should be used for. So this is definitely one my favorite song on the album, by far. It's super intense. There's the hook in the middle is just, it's hypnotic. And there's that repetitive language that he uses a lot that kind of brings to life this cycle that we're stuck in 2018 of, there's a tragedy, people react to it, and then we just repeat. Things just keep happening over and over again. It's a passionate, clever, intense, terrific song. Next track. So Open Mike takes a bit of a strange tone with this next one. There's kind of a strong stream of consciousness vibe where he's kind of going from thought to thought, rapping very quickly about a variety of things. He's not hitting a specific point or message throughout this song. I found this little nugget that I really liked, and I like this part of the verse of the song because it talks a lot about that idea of things could be worse. Like before these lines, Open Mike is talking about being insecure about your weight and having to buy new shirts. We've all been there. But on the flip side, Open Mike Eagle is able to go to the dentist whenever he has an issue because he can afford it. It's those two very different feelings. You got to take the good with the bad, and sometimes complaining about that bad can feel unnecessary because of the good things going on in your life. And I think in this verse, it's an important message where a lot of times you feel bad about those negative feelings or emotions that you have, like you're putting a burden on somebody if you want to share. And that makes people less likely to share both those negative emotions inside because they feel like they're spreading that negativity to the people around them. So throughout this, there's a few clever lines in the song, but all in all, it's kind of a meh track for me. Like the first two tracks just have this super mesmerizing, really gorgeous vibe to them, and this one kind of comes off a little meh. It's got a bit of a bland hook, and so, like the verses don't really catch my attention like the first two songs. Let's look at the next track. So I think with this next song, Open Mike is kind of taking a jab at maybe members of the opposite sex that are really tough to talk to. They don't hold up a conversation. Maybe you get those one-word answers in your text message replies. And I think that's kind of a common theme people are used to, regardless of your gender or your sex, when you're trying to talk to somebody maybe you care about and all you're getting back are, okay, haha, yeah, lol, OMG. And like you really want to talk to this person, but you're getting nothing in return. And like I've been there, but it sucks. And that's, I think, a common theme that comes up for a lot of people, and they might relate to this song. So let's take a look at some lyrics here. But when you meet people that fall into this maybe zombie category, it's got to be stressful and it's hectic and it's annoying. And especially for people that are maybe in their 20s or 30s that are maybe getting back into the dating game, it's got to be tough to make that new connection with somebody when they're acting or talking like a ghost. And we do end on this nice line, a nice little Ghostbusters reference at the end. I really like that part. So all in all, the song does have a really unique and relatable message, but kind of like the song before that, it gets a little repetitive. Track, nothing really changes up. There's nothing really like intense or spellbinding like the first two songs. And I still think we're missing something here. So in this next song, we do get more of a focus on a consistent theme, as opposed to the usual going from thought to thought, kind of touching on a variety of issues. This one's a little more focused. So this track definitely comes back to that idea of attempting to make a name for yourself and struggling to make ends meet despite being part of an industry that glamorizes wealth and success and excess. So I had to move. The fridge started making weird fridge noises, and there were very loud students on the other side of the wall that were showing up in the video. So let's call this take 2. These first few lyrics stuck out to me a little bit. So Open Mike opens about trying to craft a persona that shows off who he really is. It seems that in this era of hip-hop, people are sticking with that tried and true method in order to reach a mass audience, where it's trap music, mad lyrics, gorgeous beats, as we saw in our last video. So Open Mike is actively trying to kind of pave his own way in the rap game, and that comes with a lot of challenges. He's putting out music that reflects who he is, and he's not trying to be someone else in the rap game. So these next few bars, they tie this idea together really perfectly. So he's part of the rap game, but he acknowledges and knows that it's adjacent to all the big names as well. He runs into Vince Staples or Kendrick Lamar. It's not some crazy hip-hop crossover episode. They're just 3 rappers doing their own thing, all separate in a network of artists. Him being an actual independent artist really separates him from the crowd and continues to show off why he's trying to do his own thing. Let's take a look at some more lyrics. Here he paints that picture of like kind of a classic starving artist. He's doing well, but he's not wealthy by any means. It takes a lot for a rapper in this day and age to discuss not having a lot of things, not being able to jug and go to the store and buy all the chains, the Gucci bags, like a Burberry headband. Is that a thing? And I think that's a terrific quality in Open Mike. He presents himself in this incredibly honest way, and he outlines in these next few lines that there is a certain hustle that comes with keeping that music dream alive. The lines highlight the other side of trying to be a successful musician. In order for people to listen to your music, you got to put yourself out there. And if you're the type of person that really doesn't like social media in any way, shape, or form, that's going to be a difficult adjustment because you have to be on that. You have to be on Instagram. You have to be on Snapchat. You need to have those things in order to be a successful artist. It's like back when I was in high school, Facebook was the thing. And when you weren't on Facebook, people would be like, "Oh, Eric, why aren't you on Facebook?" Obviously, I was on Facebook because I didn't want to miss out on anything. But it's that FOMO. Like, you need to be on it, and you need to be part of it, or else you feel like you're missing out on something. And I think that's even I'm 27, but I think that still applies to social media today. These last few lyrics I want to look at. So these 2 lines, they come up in the chorus a lot, and it just ties back to that trying to reach a wider audience. Open Mike equals trying to reach more listeners. And I think that he's missing out on a large demographic that he thinks, if given the chance, they'd really appreciate his music. And as he kind of rides that line between mainstream and more obscure spoken word stuff, but regardless, he's putting something on the table that I think a lot of listeners really would get a kick out of. So I really dig this track. It comes back to that honest and open relationship that I think Open Mike has with his listeners and his audience. His bars are quick, the hook is super catchy, and there's just some absolutely unreal rhymes sprinkled throughout the whole song, so please check it out. So this last song is a little weird. Open Mike kind of presents it as this like ritual between artist and listener, and that if you've been through the whole EP, you kind of are now part of the gang. It's like you've come this far, you've listened to all 6 songs. We're pretty much we're in the crew now. You're in the crew. And I gotta say, like this opening verse just presents some awesome, beautiful figurative language. You get these super glossy, bright instrumentals in the background. These lyrics just add a nice punch as well. Open Mike kind of creates this image of his music being spread around the world like a passenger pigeon that spreads its message across the planet. And this idea of singing an anthem till your bones melt, that one definitely pumps you up. And this pre-chorus kind of hit me as well. So this line definitely resonates with me as a high school teacher. Like it's not a surprise that anxiety and stress and negative emotions are kind of on the rise in 2018. And I think that it's unfortunate because a lot of students are getting lumped into that category of I've been through some shit. But Open Mic, as the song goes on, presents this idea of, hey, we're all in this together. And Open Mic kind of goes back to that theme on the first track of trying to be relatable and making connections with his listeners. He's saying, like, I know you're dealing with personal stuff. Like, I get it. I've been there, and I'm here for you. We're in this together. Open Mic and us, the listeners, are all in this together. And we get these closing lines that are repeated a lot by the end of the track. It's this idea we're all wearing different name tags, but we all still have things in common. And Open Mic kind of discusses this kind of really cool idea of there's camaraderie in suffering. So it's like we're all dealing with very different issues, but we all have that in common. And he guarantees the listener, you are not alone. No matter what, never think that you are alone in that suffering or that struggle. Whether you like it or not, you're in the gang. But it isn't a gang. Maybe it's a gang. Who cares? We're all in this together. So for a 6-song EP, I definitely had a lot to share. There were parts I had to cut out of this review because I was falling down these crazy Wikipedia holes to learn more about what Open Mic puts into his music. But all in all, I really like this EP. There were a couple songs that I really didn't connect with that much. I still like this consistent message of honesty, insecurity, anxiety, but still remaining positive. I think for the hip-hop genre is super refreshing. And unfortunately, there is this lull in the middle of the EP where it gets a little weird. I find myself getting a little bored, but the beginning and the end definitely offer a lot to listen to. I don't think that this project will make a big giant splash for Open Mic's popularity, especially with mainstream listeners. But I hope that if you're a high school student watching this video, I really hope you give Open Mic a chance because especially those first 2 songs, they are absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. And it's different, it's complex, a lot of crazy rhyme. I promise there's not a lot of Percocet references, and he doesn't compare girls to plates. So that's always nice. It's not your usual high school listener hip hop album, but why can't it be, right? Let's check out the report card. Thank you so much for watching Mr. D Likes Rap. Leave a like if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more hip-hop review videos. See you later.